I say my number one hobby is bicycling. I was riding with Dr. Daryl Collins and another group of people. And I remember I took off and I hit a friend of mine, Mara Morris, who was a cyclist with me, and I hit her wheels. And when she looked at me, she knew, normally we don't hit like this each other. She knew it was something wrong. And next thing they told me, I fell down unconscious.
Dr. Collins, fortunately, was very close by and recognized that the gentleman had suffered a cardiac arrest. And him and the paramedic started the resuscitation while somebody called 911 and called an ambulance in. So I'd already known him as a patient, and I was on call, and I was aware that he was coming in, and I saw this body that had been down for a while. And that was the first incident. So it was we call that an out-of-hospital sudden cardiac death. So out-of-hospital sudden cardiac deaths generally don't survive. There's half to two-thirds of them might, if they're in the right circumstances, but a good third of them definitely don't.
When we arrived there, Dr. Collins right away told me, "I'm sorry, Leticia, Danielle has died." And I just said, no, I would feel it, I would know.
Just being this tough, athlete that he is, by about 48 hours after the incident, and on a ventilator in the intensive care unit here at Spawn Shoreline, he eventually started showing signs of cognitive recovery.
The day came when Dr. DiMaggio felt that he could start to talk to him and started asking him to hold his hand to see if he could feel the strength, and asking him, "Who am I? Do you know who I am?" And right away Danielle answered him back.
I look him, knowing him riding the bike, I say, "Why you ask me that question? What is my name?" I say, "Dr. DiMaggio." Look, my wife say, he remember, his name is not easy to remember, so it was nice. Then I remember he says, "Shake my hands." And I shake his hand, and he said, "He still have the strength." So he looked, my wife would say, he looked like he's in good shape, like nothing happened.
And so he'd suffered a heart attack, which then caused his heart to fibrillate, or stop working in a synchronous fashion. And so the heart was just quivering. There was no blood being ejected from the heart. He had no blood flow to his brain, and so he passed out. And by the chest compressions, which was timely, by physicians on the field next to him, they managed to resuscitate him. And lo and behold, he had 0 neurological deficits, which tells me that it was very effective compressions. He has very good friends that care for him, and they really do everything to keep him alive. So that's what happened the first time.
So really I was coming back in very strong shape. I was feeling excellent, I was feeling good. And I said to Dr. DiMaggio, "I'm going to push for more." I was back to work in a salon. I was back traveling, doing my fashion show, seminar. In September, I was already flying and go everywhere, like normal. In January, I was with Dr. DiMaggio, and again, Dr. Collins and Armand. And we was finishing the day. I'm riding the bike when I left Dr. DiMaggio. I'm riding the bike, and I'm catching the guy in front of me, and I look my monitor, my computer, 187. And I say right away, I say, "Oh shoot, it's too high." And the soon I say that, it shows 0. My computer shows 0. And I tap the computer to see maybe quit working. But honestly, it was my heart stopping. By the time I tried to remove my feet from the pedal, because we have a click and a pedal, I got dizzy and I fell. One more time, I was lucky. God was with me. But I was lucky again to have a doctor to give me a CPR.
So we were working on him vigorously, and this truck pulls up. It's a big white truck. I want to say it's a Ford F-350. And this fellow pulls up, and he jumps out in work boots, and he says, "I'm getting off my night shift, and I'm on the paramedic team for Valero. And I heard this on the Citizens Band radio or something." And he says, "I've got this thing in the back of my truck. It's called an AED. I don't know what it is." And he throws it out. Never used it. I got this. He said, "You know what you're doing?" I said, "Trust me, I got this."
I hold Dr. Demarajo's arm and I say, "Do you know I'm feeling very bad? I have a hard time to breathe." And he say, "Oh, I know. Pretty much you're dying." For the first time, I felt like what was going on. For the first time, I realized what happened if you die. If you cannot breathe, I was gone. And I heard the doctor say, "We need to move fast, we need to move fast." And one of the doctors came with a big syringe and gave me a shot on the legs. And very quickly I came back to feel better.
I really don't think it changed the life he would have had. It probably changed his perspective in life. I think it's very important for the research to continue with the heart, especially knowing that in the United States so many people have heart problems and heart failures, and the more we learn about this disease, the better life, better quality life we'll be able to enjoy within our families.
Thank you to all the great specialist doctors that we have here in Corpus Christi and the American Heart Association for everything you did for myself, for all the people you can save life. And without of you, I would not be here today talking to you. Thank you very much.